I want to go back in time for a little moment. Let's go back to 2015 and that show that we all love to hate, The View. Do you remember when Kelly Osborne, I actually didn't remember this. One of my team members jogged my memory today and said, do you remember when Kelly Osborne was actually kicked off The View? And she came out recently and said this is one of her biggest regrets because she talked about something that, well, Jasmine Crockett is talking about like on steroids, but she got in huge trouble back in 2015. Watch.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that,
no.
You know what I mean?
So you couldn't say that. But for some reason, Jasmine Crockett, the representative from the great state of Texas, don't ask me how she got elected there. Leslie, you got to work on that. We know, gerrymandering. Anyway, Jasmine Crockett is out saying this.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
I know that's right.
Anybody else see what's wrong with that? Kelly Osborne, all upset. Back in the day, 2015, she couldn't say that, and now suddenly Jasmine's like fine with it? Come on. Because they are trying to find any which way they can to justify people being here illegally. Somehow now it's totally fine. And if they have to say, well, it's to clean toilets or to pick cotton, they're completely fine with that. Like there's no sort of decency left in any of these people. And I was looking at something today from another one of these members of the squad. Is Crockett a member of the squad yet? I don't know if she's officially come out that way. But you had Representative Jayapal trying to say that, illegal immigrants, they make us safer here in the U.S. And I'm like, really? Because the last I checked, you had over 500,000 who are actually known to be having homicide concerns on their, rap sheets and sexual assault. And somehow they make us safer. Here she is.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I said in my opening, there are a lot of reasons why states and localities have adopted policies to leave immigration enforcement to federal government where it belongs. For some, it's about fostering trust with local communities. When immigrant communities know that calling 911 won't result in deportation for themselves or a family member, they are actually more willing to report and help law enforcement solve crimes, which makes all of us safer. For others, it's an important factor is legal liability. Courts all over the country, just to counter what my good colleague from Arizona said, have ruled that when local law enforcement complies with civil immigration detainer requests, and to be clear, an immigration detainer is a request, and continues to detain someone pursuant to a detainer when they otherwise would have been released, it's actually an unlawful detention, and it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
Well, you know what? Sorry, Jayapal. Things are changing. And this is a good chart. Look at the chart I'm showing you right now. This is the immigration chart. January 2000 through February 2025. Don't you actually want fewer illegal people coming here? Apparently not if you're Jayapal. No, because, well, they had some ulterior motive. They had a big ulterior motive. Take a look at the thing right above my shoulder there. New York State's top court just had to block New York City from allowing non-citizen voting because they had 800,000 people that they had imported into the state of New York, into New York City. They were putting up at the Roosevelt Hotel and others where you got daily maid service and a nice little voucher. No, like a credit card that you could use for food to the tune of more than $300 a week. Wow. I mean, who wouldn't want to come here, right? Who wouldn't want to come here? Well, now those days are over, so you see why that number is plunging. And it's going to continue plunging. And you know what? States that are doing this are in violation of the law. Pam Bondi is suing New York, along with Illinois. And they have cut off the funding to all of New York because they're not going to pay for all these federally funded programs. They were using your taxpayer dollars. If you live in Texas or you live in Maryland or you live in anywhere in the United States of America, you're getting taxed at the federal level, and they're sending it to New York to cover ethnically appropriate groceries. Like, that makes any sense at all, but apparently to the woke, it does, right? To the woke, they say, well, we have to make this legal because otherwise they may not call 911. You know what? Like, maybe we ought to have some fundamental changes so that people are coming here legally instead of illegally. I realize that that's completely radical, and apparently I'm like a right-wing nut when I say something like this, but it used to be that way, right? Like, we had legal immigration that we were trying to encourage and illegal immigration that we were not trying to encourage until the Democrats tried to figure out they could gerrymander their way into new election cycles. Oh boy, Letitia is losing it. Letitia James, who basically has been a pioneer in this field, she melted down on Friday at Rev Sharpton's big event, completely loses it, misquoting scripture, and like just goes off just ahead of the ruling that was about to come down. Because you see what happened? She does not have access to those federal funds anymore, and I won't say it. Watch.
Again, I apologize. Listen, 57 years after the assassination of Dr. King, and Dr. King talked about that stone of hope. And it's that stone of hope that gives me a fire in my belly each and every morning. It's that stone of hope that allows me to wake up and to stand to Donald Trump and to say, Donald Trump, I'm not afraid of you. It's that stone of hope. It's that stone of hope that gives me power. That's that stone of hope and the belief in each and every one of you to let you know that I'm not going to allow my ancestors, all of those who died for me, to be in this position. I am not going to disgrace them and disappoint them. I am going to use the law both as a sword and as a shield and challenge Donald Trump. And each and every time he issues an illegal executive order, I am going to stand up to him because he represents to me sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity.
Well, she represents, let's be very clear, corruption and stupidity.
Sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. And so DEI, as far as I am concerned, is more than about just black people. Let's be honest.
That's right.
DEI is about paid parental leave. DEI is about disabled children. DEI includes a number of categories. So when they talk about DEI, let them know that they're not only coming after us, but they're coming after all of us. And we've got to stand together, a stand in community, stand with this great organization under the leadership of our civil rights leader, Reverend Al Sharpton, who has been a light.
Who has been a pinnacle of corruption himself, to the tune of $500,000 that MSNBC still hasn't gotten rid of him for.
A bright and shining light in the darkness. But I don't know about you. It's that stone of hope that inspires me each and every day. And listen, faith and fear can never share the same space. And so I'm covered by the blood. And I'm not afraid of Donald Trump. You can come after me, but no enemy, nothing formed against me will perish. Nothing formed against me. Nothing formed against me. Nothing formed against me.
That's hard to take, I know. Look at their, you go girl, they're trying to tell her. Rev Sharpton, all impressed.
And you thought you could preach, huh?
Letitia's not happy. She lost. She's lost a lot of money, and guess what? All her DEI programs, like those are coming to a halt. They're coming to a halt because she is, ladies and gentlemen, she is basically the pinnacle of what you don't want being in charge as Attorney General. She's Attorney General, and she has used this. She has used this in so many ways to strike back and to hurt the United States of America by hurting our belief and faith in the system, right? In the system. And that is indeed a huge issue, a huge problem. And I got to tell you, this is not okay. She's got to pay the price. I'm still waiting on these judges. You know that? I'm still waiting on these judges because they have, at the Court of Appeals, what do they have before them? They have an opportunity to make this right. They have an opportunity to send this thing out. And yet that hasn't happened. And that is really, really concerning.